Hello everyone. So I'm back with another practical session in MySQL. Till now, in our previous class, we learned about four different types of utility commands. Show command is used to show or display the databases and tables in our system. After that, next one was use, which is used to make our database current or to open our database in which we want to create a table. After that, we learned about the describe command, which is used to show the structure of the table. And then last one was help, which is used to take the help of different commands. Okay, now in our today's session, we are going to study about further DDL commands. And first one is create. So today we are going to learn about create command. Create command is basically used to create a table or a database in our system. Before creating a table, we need to create a database first. So for this, we have a syntax. So for creating a database in our system, you can see a syntax over here. First one we are having is create. Create is a keyword which is used to create a database or a table. Next one we are having database. As we need to create a database, so we are using database word over here. If we want to create a table, we can use create over here. After that, in angular brackets, we are having the database name. That means we can give any name to our database what we want. Same case, I'm writing a query over here. I've written a query over here, MySQL. You can see first I'm writing create, then database, and the name of the database, that is company. And in last, I'm having semicolon, because we all know that semicolon is used to end the command in MySQL. When I press enter, you can see the result over here. I'm having the result like query OK, one row affected. While studying about DDL commands, we can't receive the data, or you can say that the details in our table. In this, you are getting the output maximum as query OK, one row affected, or duplicate row in this ways. Okay. Now next, for creating a table, I'm having next syntax. You can see over here we are having a slight change in this syntax. First create, just like the database, we are having same keyword as create. Next we are having table, because we are creating a table here, so instead of writing database we are writing table. Next we are having table name. I can give any name to my table what I am preferring to. After that, we have to start a parenthesis, because in table we are having many columns, so I have to write it in parenthesis. Okay. After that, I need to give my first column name, then its data type, what kind of data it is storing. After that, the size of the data. Why I'm giving it in a square brackets? Because it is optional. Some data types are not having size, just like date, integer. So we have no need to define the size over there. That's why these are optional. Okay. Now, I am creating a table product, right? So you can see over here, first I have written the keyword create, then the table. After that, I'm giving the table name, that is product. Now, I'm starting with parenthesis. I'm opening it. After that, my first column name is product ID, which is having a data type int and size is 4. Next, I'm having product name having data type varchar. After that, price and having the data type as decimal, then product brand. So you can see over here, for separating different columns, I'm using comma. Okay, for separating different columns, I'm using comma, and last I need to close it, so I'm closing it with parenthesis and then writing the semicolon. So after running this command, I'm getting the output as query OK, 0 rows affected. And now our next topic is integrity constraints. Why we are going to study about integrity constraints, as DBMS is all about integrity. As I have told you earlier in the very first lecture, that what are the advantages of DBMS, and we all know that DBMS is used to maintain the data integrity. Data integrity means accuracy of data. So for maintaining the accuracy of data, we need some conditions to apply on it. If I'm not applying any conditions, you can see over here in the table product, I'm not having any kind of condition. That's why I can enter same product ID many times. If I'm entering 11 again and again and again, it will take it, because we are not having any condition to check that product ID 11 is entered or not. So for that, we need integrity constraints. An integrity concept, basically what is an integrity constraint? So a constraint refers to a condition. I'm saying it's a rule, you can say that, or it is a condition to check. A constraint refers to a condition or check that is applied to a field or a set of attributes. We can apply it to single columns, or we can apply it to group of columns in our table. And for maintaining it, in the case of data integrity, these are known as integrity constraint. Okay, so basically a constraint is a rule, or you can say it's a condition or check, and for maintaining it data integrity, these are known as integrity constraints. Now we are having two different types of constraint. One is table, other one is column constraint. Column constraint is directly applied to individual column, right? I'm writing product ID, I'm applying primary key. Next one is table constraint. It can be applied to group of one or more columns, and it is applied in the last. Okay, you can see the changes in the syntax over here. So we are having a syntax. So first thing is create table, because integrity constraints are applied. If we are applying it first, then we need to apply it with the table structure. Where we are defining the table, we will apply the integrity constraint at the same time. So first word is we are having is create. Next we are having is table, as we need to create a table. After that we need to give a table name. Structure is same as that of table, only the changes here are, after the column data type and its size, we need to apply the column constraint because it is with the column. And in last, if we are applying it on more than one column or group of columns, then we can use a table constraint over here after defining all the columns. Let's see how it is done. First we will see what different types of constraint we are having. After that we will see how it is done. So our first constraint is unique constraint. I think all of you know the word unique, and you are familiar with the word and its meaning. Unique means that is having a unique characteristics, not repeatable values. So that constraint is known as unique. Basically in this constraint, when we apply it to a column, it means that column cannot contain repetitive value. It can accept null value, but no two rows are having same value in that column. So this is a unique constraint. We can use this constraint for a column like mail ID, because every person is having a unique mail ID. Okay, and if we are having you can say that the specifications, it is a unique product specification. So now our next constraint is primary constraint. Primary constraint is also a primary key constraint. When we are applying it in the case of rule or it's a check, then it become a primary constraint. And we are saying when we are declaring it as a key, it's become a primary key. So what are the characteristics of primary constraint basically? First one, it should not be null. Next, it should be unique. Okay. In unique constraint, we can take null value, but in primary constraint, we cannot take null value. Need to take it as unique. It ensures that this is a primary key of the table. Next thing, we can apply unique constraint and other constraints to one or more columns, but we cannot apply primary constraint to one or more columns. It should be applied only to one column. Okay, next constraint we are having is default constraint. In default constraint, we are just providing a default value. Now, for suppose we are having example, we are saying that in our school we only take admissions in first class only. Okay, that means that admission of a child is directly in our first class, not any other class. So we can directly assign the class to child as 1. We need not to enter that in our insert command. We can directly assign it as 1. So this is the main purpose of default constraint. Okay, so a default value can be specified a column by using default clause. Then we are having check constraint. Check constraint is used to check the values. So suppose I want to say that I can increase the salary if that person is having if the employer is having attendance more than 90%, or that person is coming to its job more than 90% days in the year. So I can apply the constraint check number of days is greater than 90. So if person is having number of days greater than 90, only then increment will be there, else it will not be there. So basically it limits values that can be inserted into a column of a table. Next we are having not null constraint. In not null constraint, we are ensuring that column will not have any null value. That column will not have any null value. This is specified by not null constraint. See, primary constraint is having both the characteristic of unique constraint and not null. In unique, we are only having one characteristic, that is value should not be repeated. Whereas in not null, we are ensuring that no data value is left empty in the column. So now we are going to see how we are going to apply constraints. So you can see over here, I'm having a table employee. Okay, I'm creating a table employee. So I need to use, or I need to write first create word. Okay, create keyword. Because I want to create a table, so I need to use the word create. After that, as I'm creating a table, that's why I'm writing over here table. Then I'm giving my table name, that is employee. Okay, first one, it's a DDL command. As we all know that create is a DDL command. Next, employee is my table name. After that, I'm starting it with parenthesis. Then I'm giving my first column name as employee ID, EID. Next one is my data type, that is int. After that, I'm having size, that is 4, and now I'm giving primary key constraint. Primary key means I'm making this column as primary key of my table. That means no two rows or no two records have the same values. It will judge it, it will maintain the data integrity that this is a primary key, and we are not having same value, same primary key for the records. Okay, next one we are having ename, that is employee name, having the data type as varchar, size 15, and I'm applying not null constraint over here. Why I'm applying not null constraint? Because I want that every employee, if I'm filling the record of every employee, name should be there. It is compulsion that it should not left blank. Name should be there. So this is my not null constraint that specifies that this column cannot be left blank. Next, I'm having mail ID. As I've told you earlier that every person is having its unique mail ID. So basically, if I want to ensure it that no two persons can fill the same ID, that's why I'm using unique constraint over here. That means no two rows are having the same values or the same data in our column. Next thing, I'm having elog, that is employee location, which is having the data type varchar, and I'm applying the default constraint over here, that is Delhi. So you can see over here, if we are not entering any location or if we are not giving or providing any location to an employee, it's directly default location will become Delhi. That person will get allotted to Delhi division. Okay, if that column is left blank, only then default value is entered, that is Delhi. After that, we are having salary column, that is decimal 9,2, and as we all are familiar with this thing, that here 9,2 and 9 represent the total number of digits and 2 represents a digit after decimal places. After that, we are having the last column, that is increment, and having the data type int 5. Now I am applying check constraint over here, which is checking that salary should be greater than 9,000. If my salary is greater than 9,000, only then increment is possible, else it will not get incremented. At last, I am closing my table by parenthesis and last semicolon. So you can see over here, I'm having employee ID, employee name, mail ID, employee location, salary, increment, different attributes. These are the attributes name, or you can see the column name. Okay, so in our today's lecture, we learned about how to create a table and how to apply integrity constraints on table while creating it, because they are applied to maintain the data integrity in our system. Okay, that's why these are known as the integrity constraints. In our next session, we are going to learn about other commands, that are the alter, truncate, rename commands. So stay tuned and we will see towards the next lecture. Thank you.